not to disparage my audience, but my audience are guys like me, street guys, they like a drink, they like, you know, the football, and they like having a bit of heat, you-ha, and all that kind of thing, right? All of a sudden I'm going to bombard this, now I'm Roger Cook,
bing, bing, bing,
investigative journalist, and I'm going to boom, 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 boom. Now, what I should say, right, is you'll never ever see me in Twitter giving it the big, I am a journalist. I've worked at a newspaper 4 years. I've got 3 journalistic qualifications. And I see some of these fucking half-wits who write a blog and think, I'm a journalist now. And it's like, if that's what you want to do, fine. But I've got credentials as a journalist, and I know how to research things, and etc. And I've done that at years with college and stuff. I know how to analyse things, I know how to critically think. And I realised pretty quickly that this has to be more than a book. It has to be. Because people will read a book, or might not even read the book, and just buy it because they're like, I like you, there's a tenner.
Aye.
Boom. But they might never fucking read it.
Yep.
And I knew the mediums had to change. Which is why, of course, I approached you regarding the audiobook.
Yep.
Because I thought, we live in a world where people listen to everything.
Totally.
You go to your work, you're listening.
Aye.
Whether it's in your car, it's in your lugs, it's on the bus, it's on the train, whatever. It's touch your button, bang.
Aye.
And you see the success of the audiobook, how many people bought that. And I don't think, and maybe you can correct me here, we got one bit of abuse for that audiobook. Not in terms of the content.
No.
You know, you get these people who think, you know, you know me than anybody, I'll buy the book and then I'll just not bother to download it for 3 months. And then be like, how's this fucking link not working? Because you meant to download it when you buy it. And, you know, all that shit. And I think that's twofold. I think we got the right people involved in terms of the people who spoke on it. And the story. The story was what mattered. That's what it's all about. It's not about me, it's not about you, it's not about anybody, it's about the story. That's what was important. And so from then, when I saw that, because as you know, I mean, Christ, for equally for both of us, it's an arduous process, you know, it's not an easy thing doing an audiobook by any stretch of imagination. But the impact that had was great, because suddenly that opened up another world of people who started to know the story.
Aye, that's right.
And people, I think, that listen to podcasts and read blogs and that are guys like us. They're roughly the same age, roughly the same generation, roughly the same background. And suddenly it was opening up.
Aye.
And that's when I thought, we've got to do the documentary. I went for a long walk and I thought, right, there's one guy I know that does films. I could speak to him. And I hadn't spoken to him for about a year. And we were never really that close friends. And that was my mate Ja, who was from Liverpool. And Ja had just finished the Walk On documentary, the story of the Walk On, which I'd helped to in quite a lot. I'd kind of connected him with the Celtic world and so on. But that took about 3 years. So that was like, you know. And so I sent him a message on Facebook and I said, Ja, my good friend, you can edit, can't you? And he was like, yeah, what you got? I've got a couple of yours. I was like, well, I've not got anything, but this is what I'm trying to do. And as soon as I sent the message, like, right, I'm going to have to talk to you about this face to face. I thought, oh fuck. So then I was right, okay. So I went down to Liverpool. It was a February break for the schools, colleges and stuff like that. And I'll go and meet Ja. And so I'll go meet him, and fucking Man City was playing Barcelona that night at Etihad. Sitting in the pub, the Flying the Loaf in Hardman Street in Liverpool. And so it was, oh, hey, boom, boom, boom. And you're chatting, you know, small talk for 15 minutes, and it's just like, Jan's just one of these guys, it's like, right, okay, let's talk about this fucking thing. And you're like, oh, what the fuck are you trying to do? And so I literally had to, the stuff that I'd done at boot launches, I had to do for him in 20 minutes. Well, this happened,
Did you
and
take
that
a big
happened,
board?
and there was the Edinburgh establishment and all that kind of thing, and boom, boom, boom. And he sat there, and he went, right, first thing we need is a crime wall. I went, what the fuck is a crime wall? It's like mind map, and anyway, he's seen the mind map, and he's like, oh no, that's not going to work on film. And I'm like, oh, that's good, no. And so I went through this period where I was like, right, okay, film stuff and all that kind of thing. And I've, you know, by this time I've raised money. And I mean, you're on an incredibly low budget. And I'll say before, one of the most famous low budget films of all time is Clerks, which was made in 1993 for $27,000. We're running off a budget of about $4,000. 20 years later.
Yep.
You're not getting to get the Matrix here. I try to impress on so many people. Didn't expect the fucking Matrix. Didn't expect special effects or that kind of thing. Because everything in film takes time, costs money. And so I'd done all that, and then Ja would be, and his partner would be like, this is shit, it's weak, that's this, that's that. And you think, fuck me, the standard's really high here. Right? If I'm going to put my name to anything, it's not going to be fucking this anyway. And the thing, but the best thing about it was that no point did they go, oh fuck this, what, you're going to take on, no, I'm not having that. It was more about the creative aspect here.
Mm-hmm.
So then we went through the artist with film and stuff like that, and he's like, look, this isn't a documentary. I was like, what do you mean? He goes, it's an essay piece. You're telling the story. That's what you're doing here. So he reads the book and he gets it, because he's a smart guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, right, I'm on board, I'm in, I get it.
Right.
But this, you have to understand, this is an essay piece. What your job in this fucking film is to simplify the story. That's what your job is. I'll visualise it, you simplify it. And you'll simplify it through my direction. Fine. So we've done that over the whole summer. So what I effectively had to do, Richard, was do the whole film as voiceover. Mm-hmm. Which was, by the way, that's when the audiobook training came in. So much easier the second time round. Because I knew what to expect this time. And then do the whole film to camera.
Right.
Speak the whole film to camera. And then they would splice it and, you know, throw in and all that kind of thing. I had to license various songs and clips and all that kind of thing. Which actually isn't as bad as you think, because if you're not defaming the song, if you're not putting a song up and then you stand up in front of the camera and say, this song's shit, by the way. Like, it's not going to cost you that much money, and people are quite sound, and some people give you stuff for free and stuff. And get various clips and whatever, and license a few things. And then Jar would then go and edit it. Mm-hmm. And so that's where the magic comes in, because I say to anybody can be a filmmaker.
Aye.
Point the camera at you, start talking, I'm making a film.
Aye.
The magic comes in the editing.
Yep.
Now the editing process started on the first weekend of the football season.
Right.
Yeah. We were only playing.
Yep.
I was in Liverpool that entire weekend in a studio. Walked in.
Coffee.
Just the whole time. Must have drank 10 gallons of water with the voiceover, and the editing process finished 2 days ago. That's how long it takes.
Bonkers, eh?
I've seen the cut of the film, and it just means it's, so the cut of the film's there, and he then just sort of touches it up a wee bit, and all that kind of thing, and make it ready.
Right.
And he explains to me, you need what you need in anything like this is you need a beginning, middle, and end. That's how the story is, because people are used to that. And then what you need is you need beginning, middle, and build to an end. You need to build the anticipation up, and that's what he managed to do. And then threw in the colouring, threw in bits of Joe Miller and songs that I've written. So 3 great original songs. One that I wrote, one that was done by Martin Hutchinson, and one that was done by Joe McKenna. And again, now that might cost a fortune. They all got paid, and this isn't all freebies. You know what I mean? Everything needs paid for. Cartuja done some artwork, again paid for. You know what I mean? And so I tried to give as many opportunities to people as I could through the money that was, that kind of thing. And so threw all that in, and now what we have is a 40-minute essay piece which describes the Edinburgh establishment's role in trying to kill Celtic, trying to prepare Rangers to the top of European football, and ensuring that Rangers didn't die 10, 12 years before they actually should have done.
On judges, and we'll go back to Mr. LNS as he's abbreviated to on Twitter. What's your thoughts around that from us, from Celtic PLC, and our behaviour during that time? Because your book goes into loads of detail about what they did, the enemy, the establishment, the SFA, the media, everybody. What about us?
Well, I know Celtic, in 2012 exploded at the SPL when they realised that the EBT, the SPL had known about it for a lot longer than they'd let on the SFA and stuff like that. A guy, Rod Mackenzie, used to be our lawyer and became the SFA's lawyer. HMRC had contacted him and said, hey, hold it. And when Mackenzie contacted Rangers and said, HMRC, you better watch yourself. Like, what do you mean, watch yourself? You know all about this. But that was all in-house. And I've got to say that I think one of the reasons why our ground's empty right now is because we never said a fucking word. Whilst all that was going on, and we talk about Armageddon, I know that famous buzzword for back in 2012, we were constantly told by Celtic, biding our time.
Just hold on. We'll
got
this.
time when the thing's appropriate.
There's tactics happening here.
When did it happen?
Aye.
We were cheated for 2 decades. It was proven we were cheated for 2 decades, and we heard nothing. And then we heard a slip out saying, people like, well, you know, we've got to look after ourselves and staff members' safety. And it's like, fuck that.
Yeah.
We're out in the ground. We're in the trenches. You know what I mean? You are the ones with the heated driveways and the big gates and all that kind of thing. We'll all say it. We will all say this. And I just think it's a bit like now Celtic are trying desperately to reach out to supporters and say, you know, maybe we've got this wrong with it. But I say to them, what I say to them, Richard, is that it's like, we'll talk about anything, they'll say to us, we'll talk about anything you want apart from the thing you actually want to talk about, which is the £500 elephant in the room. You never said anything about the cheating. And I know loads of supporters are like, never gone back.
Yeah.
Because what the fuck? You know what I mean?
Is that now missed?
Oh, definitely.
Can they do anything?
No, I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so. They never had the balls to stand up and they say, and it's, you know, you've got these guys that are on Twitter right now, a few of them, about Resolution 12 and Rangers getting a licence when they shouldn't have got one because of the tax man. How serious are Celtic got to take that when Peter Lawwell sits on the fucking SFA board now?
In the SFA.
Peter Lawwell's going to bring down the board that he sits on, is he? Not a fucking chance. And that's the reality. Now, what I'll say now, Richard, I don't think Peter Lawwell will be there much longer.
Right.
I really don't. He's not at the club very much.
So completes the transition, comes away from Celtic and stays at SFA, or disappears from football
Probably
together?
Disappears from football because
Right.
Peter Lawwell's an accountant. He's not an entrepreneur, and we need an entrepreneur now because we're in a phase where we have to ask ourselves as a football club, tell me what attracts people to this football club. Not very much. Not very much at all right now. The game last night, it's pissing rain, it's freezing, you know the ground's going to be half empty, the team shocking standard. How do you attract people to that? It's not people, oh, you miss Rangers. It's not what we miss Rangers, you miss competition is what we miss.
Correct.
And competition is what we had before the Asterisk Years.
Yeah.
Aberdeen, Dundee United, Hearts. That's what Rangers destroyed in Scottish football. And that's a big part of it. You know, David Murray destroyed Scottish football because he had propelled Rangers up to this height that Celtic eventually had to get their act together, and when Celtic got their act together, overtook them, they had to cheat even more, and the rest of the clubs are like, fuck's sake, we need to spend money we've no got to compete with this. And it annoys me, Richard, it really annoys me that here we have this fucking Sevco, debt-free, moving up the leagues, here we have Hearts, debt-free, moving the leagues, guys like Hibs and Aberdeen, played by the rules, with any debt, they're struggling.
Yep.
There is no kind of incentive to play by the rules in Scotland. You know, because Hearts, you know, oh, we got a CVA. No, what a CVA means, you bumped all your creditors, and now you're debt free, and you're lording it over everybody in the Championship, going to go back to the top league in SPFL because you bumped everybody. That's not fair. You know, I mean, I've had it. Here supporters, they just didn't understand what they did. 5-1, 5-1, 5-1. I knew we were going to win that game because we had better players. You know why? Because you had a lot more money that you never paid back to anybody. And that's exactly what Rangers did as well. You know what I mean? Rangers, the point of the Asterisk Years was twofold, Richard. It was to stop David Murray in his tracks to coming back, and it was to say, we deserve the trophies. The trophies should be withheld for Rangers Football Club because they were gained by cheating. And all Celtic had to stand up and say was, we were cheated.
Yes.
End of story.
I remember a vague statement, something about surprised at the decision or something. I mean, it was almost...
Peter Lawwell needs a thesaurus because he's always surprised, bemused. You know, it's like, just get out there and say what you mean. You know, we have all these faceless people at Celtic now. And the guy I feel sorry for is a very, very, very good friend of mine, godfather to my eldest son, John Paul Taylor. He's standing there in chains, and thinking what we think. He can't do anything.
Yep.
Oh, we'll have a fans forum. For what? I get invited to them all the time. And I'm actually going to go to one in November because I'm fucking sick of it. I'm going to go to AGM or not. Because I'm sick of fucking people going up to AGMs and saying, listen, see the pies? Rotten. Aye, they are rotten. But you know what? I'm more concerned about the fact that we were fucking cheated for 20 years or whatever. And I'm sick of it. And the question I'll ask at AGM, Richard, is I'm going to ask each and every one of the board members, please tell me how much money you brought in this football club. And I know they can't answer in the positive, and I'll say, because here's what you've taken out of it, 25 grand a year, 50 grand.